Broadcasting live from the 5 more minutes, Mom. Ravaged bayous of Louisiana. Ay, ay, ay. Just, you think just, you get a certain age where that nap becomes just go the hell to bed. Oh, we can chat some what's coming in comic books. At least with Dark Horse and DC. I couldn't find the Marvel one. Uh, um, we have a box. What's in the box? We have ways of making you open that box. Leah Glacia, thank you. Some people, you know what? They say the youth of today don't have patience. Thanks for waiting around. I don't know if anybody else is showing up. I'm definitely in trouble because I think I missed Miss Rowdy's interview, which was the previous hour. So if you all missed that too, definitely go back and um, join that replay. Boy. That yes, hello, Kitty. Yes, gonna interview you for today too. Meow, meow. Wow, that well, that's not a good thing. So, and it's also a good thing. So, hello, wife and kiddos. um, oh, she's still on. So, yeah, that there you go. So, well, it's my time now. So, anyway, why keep the box? We got a box. Oh, I just hopefully I didn't just. Oh, take care of that right before I dox myself. Dun, 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 dun. I got a thing, and it arrived weird. So I got the Chameleon, which, again, if you have a turbojet in the front, how the hell does that run through a Harley Davidson V twin motor? But anyway, I less about that. I got two right. There is actually you have to have the right side skis. These skis are not identical. Identical. And I got two of the same size skis. Yeah. Yeah. Cobra math. Yeah. That's, yeah, it just works. So you cannot, there's a little bit of a ratcheting action on these. Not much. It's not enough to even hardly mention. But so anyway, I got two of the same side. And maybe I'm not awake. Am I dreaming this? Am I in fact here? Am I on air? I mean, if I'm dreaming, I can do anything. Anyway, so I got two of the same side skis. And they knew, they had to know that they gave me the wrong side because these little tabs pop out. And they had it shoved in there like they really wanted it to be a left-hand ski. They just, if they believed hard enough at that factory in Vietnam that I have been bragging so hard about, they believed hard enough that it was going to work. It in fact did not. But a 1/4-inch drill bit made it work, and my very first phone call to Hasbro customer service, who is claim that they are going to replace the entire toy. We will see if that does in fact happen, or I get a 2-year-old Marvel Legend and this was a lazy toy design. Not going to give it too much crap because I'm pretty sure that the original was a little bit of a lazy toy design. But the original was at least a little bit creative, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't know if you've never seen the original, I think 85. The original Zartan came with the Chameleon, and there was a little crate that was behind the Chameleon, and the whole purpose was that you could dismantle the toy, put it in the crate, and Zartan in disguise could be carrying it like just some old. And it was nifty. I had a lot of fun. It was color changing, and that was new, fancy in 1985. Shut up, kids. with your boba teas. So I have a complaint. Are you kidding me? I would be on the phone. You know, it's one thing. This is a general release. This is something that I guarantee you is. I've never seen any vehicles at Ollie's, but this is definitely going to be on discount aisle somewhere at some point. It's if it wasn't a Pulse, that HasLab is a whole different story. One, I would almost give up hope, but two, not a day would go by that I would not be on the phone. Hasbro would have blocked my number by now if that was me. If I had a HasLab, you know, they used to have parts for this shit. You know, it's if you had a problem, they could send you the part. You know, that I don't want to tell you to give up hope, but I would be close to it because I don't know that is the my heart breaks for you, my friend. Okay, we have opened the box, and I have a compliment and a complaint. Collecticon Toys. If you've not heard of these guys or guy, he's a really nice fellow. So when I say complaint, it's a mild one. He does a lot of blockies, and I love me some Unicron. So when I saw that Blockies was doing a Unicron, I had to have it. Well, I'm not buying. You know, I hate blind boxes. Just tell me what I'm buying. You know, complaint and compliment Collecticon Toys. This guy buys the blockies and pretty much opens the blind boxes and just sells them on his website and packages them well for shipping. Dear God. So we got a little blocky we'll put together here in just. I ordered it from his website, and for some reason it was never fulfilled. It was never fulfilled. Y'all hear that? Just listen. Man, that Oklahoma Panhandle just comes out of you when you've had. About 2:00 this afternoon, I was like, you know what? I've been fighting a lot of crap with all this, and sometimes mid-afternoon, I just completely drop. About 2 o'clock this afternoon, I was like, you know what? I need to take a little nap. It's something's not right. I got into that chair and boom. Don't remember anything else. I also just noticed that my damn Mac, I don't understand why it keeps reverting back to settings that I don't want. And it had me on Wi-Fi. So I'm hoping that the first 16 minutes of this show has not been fuzzy Macs with. I'm going to be. It's one of those days. This is one of those days. Anyway, Collecticon Toys, finish your damn story, Max. The first one I ordered online, and for some reason, it just was never fulfilled. Don't know what happened. Just it said, everything on their website said, waiting to happen and all this, blah, blah, blah. Thought all was good. That was February. So finally, I was just like, screw it. Got on eBay, found one, and it turned out it was from the same company because he sells them on eBay too. So your website failed me. Oh, man, that's way too much tragedy, partner. Way too much. I don't even know how at this point you would fix that. Like it just. Oh, we actually, for the first time ever, we have instructions. I know the point of tonight's show. We're gonna get to it's the what if, but we're gonna have a little bit of fun first. So let's put together a block of kids, and we have Unicron Planet. Ooh, look at that. Tiny. I don't get out of here. Boy, there are some parts to this thing. Oh, haystacks, you got me worried, bud. You go talking about grass fires and shit in a place that is 99.9%. It's all grass. But, and just like that, I think we put the stand together. Thing. Okay. All right. There is nothing, absolutely nothing, and it can't be replicated. It's too late. Your kids have missed it. Of sitting in an old school theater back in the 80s. Oh man, I am excited to hear what you think of that toy, Robert. Back in the 80s, and hearing the first bits of music from Transformers the movie and seeing Unicron in planet mode just swing around and just take over. Oh, we're gonna these put together. Apparently, this thing has a little gimmick action. Blockies never ceases to amaze me with just how much fun they are. But my old man, what's that? Hmm? Oh, oh yes. We'll discover the truth, Mr. Holmes. Uh, sometimes that shit is just being this. Oh, does it? Uh, that is some neat engineering. Well done, Blockies. Well done. That okay. Oh, just throw that down there. Oh, the rest of this seems to have a plan. Where is the maw? That would be this. Oh, you push on the maw, and it nobody summons Megatron. That it pleases me to be the first. Orson Welles' last role. Who'da thunk it? Who'da thunk it? I love me some Orson Welles. But okay. There's a lot going on here. No. Ah. Very satisfying click. No. Ooh. Aha. uh, ooh. Um. All right. Ah. I'm having confusing emotions. What are you doing to me? Okay. Maybe. All right. You know what? These damn instructions were created for somebody with the eyesight of a not me. Oh, I guess there's really no wrong way to put this outer shell on. Oh. It just works. Just works. Hey, I yeah. Well, I knew you'd make it. I hope the interview went well, and I am very sorry that old man Max slept through it. I was just talking about that. Oh, one of these. One of these things is not like the other. Things just doesn't belong, and that's going to be this one right here. Ah. Hey, Joe, how are you doing, partner? Welcome, bud. Look at this. Look at this. He just nom 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 nom. Get in my belly. I promise that I will be amongst the replay squad just as soon as whatever this is over. So, listen, as if Transformers the movie didn't have me on the edge of my seat watching throw some Weird Al Yankovic in there, and Young Max is like, you had me. We're doing this. Okay. Now for this mess. Okay. I'm going to say that okay. Um oh, see. Ah. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay. Uh Haha. This is great. Blockies is, you almost don't need an instruction manual with these things because they're they're going to work. And if they don't, they can usually be taken apart. Ah, I love it. Piss off instructions. Nobody needed you. That is just fantastic. Look at that. Nom, 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 little pincher bites. Ow! Ow! That is definitely a 5-year-old me crying to mom because I just pinched myself. Mom, my toy pinched me. I didn't want it to, but it did. So now I have Planet and Head. And I'm really, really, really hoping that they come out with a scale blockies Unicron that matches this head, because that's, and it's even got a little shuttle that I think it came with the head. but this, dear gods, if I'd have had this back in the 80s, mm, I it's going to bring us a little bit into tonight's topic, because tonight's topic is, what if? What if we never got these? Ah, I didn't. It's, no, but the toys. I had a thought. Somebody had posted up about, just, they're worried about the recent um, disappearance of Lenny from Hasbro, going over to one of the other toy companies, Boss Studios or something like that. Oh, they did. This is a Blocky's Kaiju Kitty. Is that not fantastic? Yeah, they absolutely discontinued Core Class. The only Transformers I kept was the Core Class. Uh, everybody worried about Lenny leaving Hasbro and GI Joe's. GI Joe's disappearing. They're just not Lenny. No. What about my action figure? My dollies. My dollies will be gone. I have no more dollies. Just don't know what to do. I am so much sad inside. It fills me up. It fills me up with the sad, and there's so much sad. My doctor says you're too much sad. We need to get you on a sad. Anyway, um, what if GI Joe disappears? What if it's gone? 4% of Mattel shareholders want Mattel to sell to Hasbro. What if your Motu's gone? Oh, not the Motu. Anything but my Motu. If my Motu disappears, where will all my muscly men toys come from? What if? What if? Most of YouTube is, and Toy Tubers is, you have a few of them that I will give a majority, maybe not a majority. Um, the really good ones do a lot of fact, because, art is relative, and you may love, chameleons with two left back skis that, you have to drill out to make work. Um, it it's not the first time GI Joe's disappeared. I mean, Ice Cream Man famously ended the line back in the 90s. The most hated GI Joe in history of GI Joe. They Oh, by the way, the good news about that, if Hasbro does take care of me, I will have a Zanya for you, Rowdy. So you may get the figure you wanted. Um, the figure is really cool. And I had an old man moment. I was trying to listen to the other conversation, and it was happening. Um, GI Joe's disappeared before. Motu has, dear gods, I think actually Motu might have been continuously on the shelf for like the last 100 years. I don't remember a time where I've not seen some kind of Masters of the Universe figure in some way, shape, or form on a shelf. Um, I know that friggin' Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, has like never been out of production since it started, which is interesting because Playmates recently hired lawyers for some kind of litigation protection. We don't know yet on the original Turtle line. I don't know if they're looking for IP protection. Ah, here we go. I knew you'd have the answer. Motu wasn't around for most of the 90s and didn't come back until 2000. Yeah, but that's not a long gap. Maybe it's GI Joe was kind of the same way. Um, GI Joe left kind of mid 90s, but everything kind of stopped mid 90s. Mid 90s, nobody gave a shit about anything. It was a weird time. Shit, I don't know. I was backpacking around the world. So I honestly, mid 90s, I couldn't tell you what was happening and what wasn't happening in toys. Um, right on. Uh, Power Rangers, that's, I guess that would have been there was, yeah, they just keep getting returned back to the bigger size. Yeah, that it's all the, well, I remember when they went to the 3 3/4 back when I was a kid and listening to conversations, uh, because my parents being antique dealers had a number of the old 12-inch Joes going back, and they were like, should we box these? Uh, oh, take a drink. Okay. I needed that. I needed to take a drink. I got that sleep dehydration because I pretty much got me a little 4 hour nap that I'm still not quite awake from. But anyway, tonight is just a what if. Just I collect the GI Joes, um, with the exception of the recent Walmart cancellation of the 250th anniversary Duke, which immediately after my cancel, they went right back and was like, uh, here's here's a bunch of figures available. Oh, you missed it. Oh, you missed it. Oh, 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 you almost had it. No, oh, yeah. That Yeah, you got a lovely assistant says you gotta be quicker than that. Mm. At friggin' Walmart, man. Every time, every damn time, it never fails. The minute they have a Hasbro Pulse Live and they're like, oh, we've got new figures to show you. Oh, Walmart exclusive, people. Aren't you excited? I sharpen the blade on the guillotine just a little finer. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. At normally when people are like, "Oh, they couldn't make that movie today." Um I roll my eyes loudly. But Revenge of the Nerds is absolutely a movie that not just would not be made today, would never be made. That was that they were still hanging off that money of Porky's and um Porky's Revenge, kind of how much boob can we put in a movie and still keep an R rating. So yes. Wow, Mel Brooks is classic. God, I love Mondo Hungry. um oh yeah, they full frontal. Full frontal. That so did that, we're not talking about movies. Always with the movies, Diaz. We're actually gonna stick to I mean listen, it's a what if. It's a what if. So we could talk about anything. But what if your favorite toys ended today? Just shelved, done. Chris Cox from Hasbro goes into that board meeting, says, listen here, people, I have got the answer. What we're gonna do is we're putting everything AI toys. All these kids are gonna love it. Stop production on everything. No more Black Series. No more Legends, Marvel Legends. No more GI Joe. It all just stops. Oil prices get to $200 a barrel. They need every last drop. The resource wars have begun, and your toys are gone. In fact, they're going door to door looking for your toys because they need to melt that plastic back down to power a tank in Serbia. So, door to door, people, they're coming for your toy. They don't care about your pew pews. You keep your pew pews. Give us the action figures. Just put them in the box. There won't be a problem. Toys is already a thing. Oh, you scaring me, Leah. Um, yeah, I mean, I would be pretty set as far as like my GI Joes, especially. Um, as I've got a complete collection. And any voids that I do have are recent voids that shouldn't be too hard to fill. and uh just tell me, sir, are there toys under the floorboard? Hmm? We can we can that I just ran. Damn it, Diaz! This is what you do to my mind. I just ran the entire movie of Inglorious Bastards through my mind, except it was, you know, about toys. um. Oh yeah, it's coming. Like Grand Slam is going to be like next to be released, and then all of a sudden it's gone. Yeah, it. I'll defend the altar to Wade Wilson with my life. You'll pry Deadpool from my cold, dead hands. There'll be bumper stickers. When they take your Scarlet and Cover Girl, they've took your rights. What would you do? I mean, I'm old enough to actually remember toy lines gone, done. You know, it's you damn dirty apes. You did it. You finally did it. You took my Shagagamorth. He had one eye. That will fuel 30 tanks in lower Serbia for the next 10 years, Diaz. You're that is just not that kind of speech will not be tolerated in this world. You're not gonna go turbo, are you? Oh, I will not. These are these are not the toys you're looking for. Listen here. I don't know what toys you're talking about. It's, it's just a ball. It's just a ball. Ball's not a toy. You need those. You need those. You need your balls, unless you don't need your balls. And then it's a planet. Take my toy. What do you do? Oh, take my skiff with the. You need a skiff. You don't want this. You don't want this. Oh, okay. Frank Dumont, how do you do, sir? It is great to see you, bud. But it's okay. So we've decided that they're not coming for your toys, everybody. That I'm about to start a toy buying frenzy. You won't be able to get toys for the next 3 years, but Joe, you're right. We are sitting on a solution to the innocent crisis, and it. You want my major? You want my major? You wouldn't like me without my major. Hey, I remember, and it's one reason, Ayo Frankie, I'm giving him a little shout. Always gives me shit because he thinks that I hate turtles. And Rowdy always gives me crap because she thinks that I don't give two shits about Power Rangers. But Turtles and Power Rangers came onto the shelves about the same time that it was definitely the end of Star Wars. And let me tell you, there is a reason they talk about the final 17 and why that is a thing, because that was the last Star Wars we got for a good long while. From my cold from my cold limp hands, my cold nerd hands. Yeah, 1993. I I remember a time, you always see those pictures on Reddit and what forth of somebody with a you see that toy line, and every toy line had an entire friggin' aisle. You walk down your Walmart or Target now, and your toy line has this much space on a shelf, uh, and amongst other toys, you don't know this, but at one time, one toy line took up an entire row. An entire row. The only time you see that now is in the quote unquote girl section, or the toddler section. You see Monster High will take up those will take up an entire row. Those little blind box balls. They're the balls. They are always about the balls, Maximilian. But I remember as a kid going into a Toys R Us and seeing the GI. It wasn't just the GI Joe section; it was the GI Joe aisle. The Yeah, Legos. Yeah, Hot Wheels doesn't get its own aisle. They've got you've got the mini cars kind of take up a spot, but and Barbie is still sharing some aisle space with some other people, but Legos is getting it. They not only are they getting a aisle, they're getting multiple aisles. Target, I went there last week, lovely assistant? We're in 2 weeks ago at Shreveport at the Target on Uri Drive. And Lego had one, two, 2.5 aisles. Opinions vary, but I'll give you that. And agreed with by Leah. I listen, Monster High fans, salute to you. You have stayed dedicated when others have abandoned. But you don't see entire aisles dedicated to one toy. But I remember this. I remember an entire so much Star Wars that it went to the end caps, the entire aisle, and those aisles as a kid were a block long. You had to stop halfway through, hydrate, refreshed, get off, that there was a pew to because you didn't think you were going to make it to the end of the aisle, and your mom sure didn't want you to, because it that meant spending money. But you don't, and it's fine not seeing that anymore. That was the heyday That was the golden years. Um, mm, but um, yeah, episode 1 of Star Wars was like that. They had that it filled up space. Um, yeah. As far as the eye could see. And yeah, yeah, the glorious times, the early 80s. It was, but and people are like, "Oh, get geopolitics and my toys, just leave it out of it." But hey, geopolitics ended a lot of that shit. So it's relevant. Just because it's not the geopolitics you want to be talking about doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. But we're not getting into all too much of that tonight. But it's the I remember seeing that collapse, just like I remember seeing the collapse of the comic books. Oh, you need 50 covers of the death of Superman. And well, look, kids, holograms. Oh, um, we all have a toy line that it doesn't matter. I'm talking old man shit here, old man shit. But um, everybody has a toy line that, I mean, you talk to Rowdy Riles right now, and she will. You give her an inch. You got to take a drink every time you do. Mention Power Rangers and just the fact that they're gone. That's what if. Oh, lovely assistant is making sure that I don't help. I'm being radicalized. They're coming for my toys. Yeah, I mean it's they. I don't know. I would really love an autopsy, an in-depth autopsy, and I know there's one. There's got to be one out there. Some long view uh YouTube analysis of the death of comics back in the day and how that came to be and who was making those decisions. But I haven't seen it yet. So we but we've all seen something that we want, some product as a consumer that we enjoyed, that we invested in, and it just disappears. It's gone. And I know most of us just move on because we're addicts and we can't help ourselves. We we have to fill the black void within our soul with something. And drugs are expensive nowadays. So, and responsibility and whatnot. Uh, they, for some reason, look down upon, fentanyl and meth addictions. So that plastic's what we got. And the fact that it doesn't smell good when you put it in a pipe and try to smoke it protects us as consumers and addicts. But what do you do? I know that I really thought about this the other day when somebody mentioned that when the whole Lenny and oh my God, we're losing GI Joe. What will happen? Um, and in some ways, I believe that. I that we're doing what if we're I think classified is coming to an end. Uh, I think they're set up for the next year. I think they have read the writing on the wall that I don't know how permanent or this Vietnam. I know they've invested money in the Vietnam factory, but that's money that they've spent. That I mean, shit. Chances are the idiot in chief is going to say, "Yeah, sure, invade Taiwan," and then I promise you, all your toys are gone. Um, Sorry for that little bit, but not sorry. Um, be the change you want to see. Listen, I'm pretty sure that there's enough microplastics in my brain, my nutsack, um, and it's encompassing all. Sooner or later, we're all going to be plastic action figures. That's the goal, isn't it? I want what you want. I have the best articulation. Well, I used to have the best articulation. uh, but that's it. It's the ultimate goal of collecting is eventually you just they mount and stuff you and yeah, that's it. I'm telling you. And yeah, and this lasts longer because it's hard to smoke. Don't snort it. It's got spiky bits. um, hey, listen, I was young once. Experiment. Oh, somebody's gonna clip that. Serious question though. Your favorite line, and by favorite I mean you own more than 75%. I don't want to put a number of how many figures you own because that number will scare some people, myself included. Because then I got to think about how much I've spent on that over the years. But more than 75% of some of a collection, and it's gone tomorrow. Marvel Legends, Star Wars. GI Joe. Uh, what's your first? I guess if anything, I'm trying to set up a 5 stages of death to the end of a toy line. So I know the first thing that oh, that's extreme, but understandable. I If you've gotten something, I never understood why a lot of until recently why some Marvel Legends collectors really, really, really got upset. Um, until I really started looking at the lines and I listened to a lot of toy tubers talk about it and just how infrequently Hasbro would complete a series. Like if you had, say, I'm just throwing this out there because I don't know, one just right off the top of my head, like 97 X-Men, and just having that series and having all the figures that you could have for that series um done. Or just an X-Force team, or I'm sure somebody in Marvel Legends collecting in the comments is going to, definitely put me on track with um why does it come with a little scooter? Yeah. Sorry, no refunds, Kaiju Kitty. Um so you're just but listen, look how long it took us to get a Deadpool. You talk about deserts are what we're talking about here. Um, some places are uh you, you and some of the things that I've worked in, in the past, you hear about food deserts, which is like areas that just have no food. It's anyway, we're getting into some off other topics, but if you get into a toy desert, um, where for years, what is I'm trying to think of I well, I have one before me, a Unicron figure. I mean, never got that. The main bad guy for a film, and it wasn't until I was well into adulthood that you got any kind of Unicron figure, and it was crap. Some people like it because it sells for stupid money. Um, but yeah. And you know what? I know a lot of people who, but that means that you've stopped being a Marvel Legends collector and you're a Toy Biz Marvel Legends collector. Um, and that's that's fine. That at least gives you some closure of being able to say I've completed that collection. That collection is done. I don't know what that is, Rowdy. I was thinking the same. I thought the same things too. I was like, "Is that the Pimp My Ride guy?" Um, yeah, that's Hey, listen, I'll vinyl. You want to talk about some plastic crack? Um, it's pretty easy to um end up and get a good vinyl collection. And there's another great what if. I mean, vinyl for the longest time, you weren't getting new vinyl. It was pretty rare if you did. Back me up on this, Kaiju Kitty. There was a definite desert for new vinyl, fresh pressing. You had a few places that were doing it, but it wasn't. It was definitely special order. You had to go hunting for it. You weren't just walking into your local Walmart and seeing a aisle of vinyl. You had to go find a vinyl store, some old crusty guy who was most definitely a hoarder. Uh, and my favorite record shop in Shreveport, I'm too fat to go in there and find anything because I can barely get through I'm sucking up, walking sideways, at yep, confirmed. That is um I think the first thing I would do if they canceled the Joes, I'm not I'm not into army building. I am definitely not. If you want to see a fine example of army building, check out Woody 222. Um, a fantastic individual and a wonderful collector. That's army building, but that's not me. I have the biggest thing I have in my GI Joe collection is a small platoon of Cobra troopers. That's I tried to build a little platoon. Uh, but it's very hard to find anybody who's willing to put down on paper what regimental uh lineups are for any kind of Cobra stuff. It's apparently just very city to city. Um, oh my God, yes. I mean, not yes. We must protect Woody. That's it. We need to sandbag out in front of his house, set up um, small arms fire to the right, large caliber to the left, and or wait, yeah, that's right, that's left. Wherever the burritos will be served, that's where I want to be. So, mm, chalupas. I don't know why I believe that Woody has chalupas, but I want to because that just makes him better. Chalupa. Anyway, the first thing I'm lucky as the main line that I collect. I have very few holes to fill. So if I knew the line was ending, it wouldn't be difficult to fill those holes, to be able to have that closure, and acceptance of death. Uh, but I know for a lot of people that would not be the case. Oh! That is what she said. Burritos being served in this toy addiction recovery group. I mean, seriously, that's the only way we can deal. And Diaz, I know it's there's got to be. I know there's some frozen chimichangas. No, excuse me, fresh, never frozen. But are frozen never fresh? Fresh frozen, frozen fresh. Just open up a large industrial can of chimichangas. I'm pretty sure Del Monte probably. Anyway, but that's my what if. You know, what if they're gone? What do you do? Do you move on to a different? I mean, most of us, I've I've collected because my mother was also a collector and a Star Wars fan. I had, as a kid, a complete collection of Star Wars, with the exception of the Imperial Shuttle. The large Imperial Shuttle is the only toy that I did not have as a kid in Star Wars. Um, GI Joe, not even close. They just made way too much shit. Um, but I tried. And I know some people who, collect turtles. I like turtles who they are more than willing if that Rubberhead Ralph shows up at any point at time in their life, they are ready to drop $1,000 to make sure that happens for them. There was some guy used to, I can't, he, toy addicts or something like that. I don't know. That used to go around looking for turtle stuff. Because who isn't? But it's I used to watch the money he would drop. Oh, you better keep that information yourself. That's like saying I got 2 gold bars sitting on the front porch. They're coming looking, Diaz. Run. um, but that's my question. What if? What do we just okay? It's have them. I'm sure you have a moment of anger. Is the what the first stage of acceptance of it? You're mad. How could Lenny do this to us? Ah, um, uh, how could Hasbro, Chris Cox, yeah, whatever, we're all almost every toy tuber is an amateur death examiner. Uh, but very few are licensed medical examiners that can really do a true autopsy of the death of a product. Because it requires, and something not a lot of toy tubers have, which is inside information. And not a lot of companies, I mean, even years later, you go to some of these panels where the creators of this line, and they can't even tell you why it died. Um, right now, I guarantee you we will likely never understand why Playmates dropped TMNT because they just got lawyers. And the first thing a lawyer tells you to do is shut the fuck up. So probably by the time my kid is my age, she might just be hearing of some of the reasons if anybody their age cares of why Playmates dropped the turtles. Uh, that's 25, 30 years from now. I I know that a lot of people will be angry with, if their line dies, then they move into, the second stage, which is the hustle and flow. I've got to fill these voids. I've got to buy up as many, if they're uh investment collectors, they've got to buy up as many of those products that they see. Uh they've or they just stop. But do you immediately, it was mentioned in chat that I would just stop collecting. And I wonder just how much of that, would we find something else to collect, or are you getting to a certain age that collecting doesn't do it for you? You got a fire pit to build in your backyard to, or that walk-in bathtub to get installed in. I would collect pomegranate. Is that a toy or the actual fruit? um, look at this beautiful seed. No matter what it is, there's somebody collecting it. That's the beauty of collecting things. No matter what it is, somebody is collecting it. That's a lot to collect. Why? Goodness gracious! I just need that pebble. Um, I've been I've had plenty of toy lines abandon me. I'm kind of I've girded my loins to this over the years, and collecting a lot of things. That's the one thing about, like, as an antiquities collector. Um, you're beginning, that the thing, and I think this comes through with a lot of vintage toy collectors. Like, I really, really, really love Starcom. I had a lot of it as a kid. I've got a little piece here on my desk. Love Starcom. Would love to have a collection of it. And if I collect it, I go into collecting that now, knowing that there's not any more of it. That what was made, that line has stopped, and I know exactly every box to check mark when I'm collecting it. Have you been in my cabinet? I don't know what you're talking about. I worry about you sometimes, Kaiju. I hope you're drinking some, get some orange juice, pay your tickets. Oh, Robotech. That was, I had that. Okay. Side story. Tell you a story about that Robotech, Veritech fighter. I really wanted one. It's 2.5, 3 hour, 2 hours to Amarillo, Texas, the nearest toy store, mall, Toys R Us. We stopped at Toys R Us, and Toys R Us was the only place where you could find the old Matchbox uh Robotech stuff. And I had all the books. Well, Toys R Us was probably about 3 blocks, in distance from the nearest entrance to the mall. So now I was a 80s kid, which meant my parents pretty much said, okay, go off in that direction and just, we'll find you when we want to find you. Um, that you got to take care of, just run off and do your own thing. There were no helicopter moms back then. So I saw that Veritech fighter at Toys R Us. Mom told me no. I was going to get that Veritech because I knew, because there were other times that we'd seen a toy at Toys R Us, and Mom said maybe next time, and it wasn't going to happen because it was going to be gone. It was going to be sold the next time. So when we went to the mall, my mom had a 77 Toyota Corolla. Jeez Louise, this car was something else. It was gray poupon in color, and just, it was interesting. Interesting car. She loved that car, and so we drove over to the mall. At some point in this mall, I managed to sneak a few bills out of my mom's purse. And the minute we got to the mall, I had the whole plan in place. I was like, okay, I'm going to go over here. She was like, okay, well, we'll meet up here in a little bit. So the minute I was out of her eyesight, I booked it out of the mall, ran to the Toys R Us. Now, I had to have the money, the keys to the car, and I had to hustle because that was a run. So I made it to Toys R Us. I got the Rick Hunter Veritech fighter, brand new in box. Got it paid for. Hurried back to the car, unlocked it, stuck it in the back. And I thought I'd hit it in, that if you know anything about a 77 Toyota Corolla, there is not too many places to hide things. And I knew I couldn't stick it in the trunk because Mom would have bought something. And if she opened the trunk, first thing she would have done is seen that toy. So I put it behind the driver's seat and I put a towel over the top of it. And I ran back to the mall. And apparently, I did not time this well because, and I knew I took too long. I was in trouble because I was being announced over the loudspeaker, "Where the F are you, little boy Tucker? Get your ass here." So I find mom. She's like, "Where have you been?" I was like, "I was just over here. I've been on blah, 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 blah." And it's time to go. She was pissed. She was already pissed because, don't make your mother look for you. So we go out to the car, and before my mom even unlocks the door, she notices something's behind the back seat. And that's when she knew what had been done. I don't know where I got that over to just, I was busted. I'm sure that I spent the next 5-10 minutes trying to come up with some bullshit lie that was completely unbelievable that, and I had thrown away the receipt. So you weren't returning it to Toys R Us. Toys R Us they weren't Walmart. There was no refunds, no, get your money back, not without a receipt. My mother had that toy up in her closet for years. Was I allowed to see it, touch it, open it? Nope. Nope. None of that. None of that. It was, I'm pretty sure I know somewhere around in some drawer of my mother's, we're going to find after she's gone, I'm going to find at least 3 or 4 of those missiles for that damn Veritech fighter. And kids are such shitheads. Anyway, but Robotech is a great example of what we were talking about. That line is done. The stuff that they put out now, you want an alpha fighter? Yeah, good luck. $500 for, just a little bitty filler. It's just it's interesting to see what I mean, what if your toy line just kept going? There's the other side of the coin. We do a lot of what ifing here tonight of toy line stop. What if they went on forever? Do you really want the same Marvel Legends now that, I mean, why keep the box mentioned earlier about how his, someone in his life collected the old Toy Biz Marvel Legends. Would you really want to see those exact same figures reprinted forever? I like to see improvement. What if Toy Biz still made Marvel Legends? How would you handle that? Seeing the same, oh God, I'm thinking, yeah, but I think I've got, like, One of my favorite figures is the old Toy Biz Thanos. Um, I don't believe that they've done a better Thanos yet. You it just it's hard to beat that one. Um, but if they did, what if? You got if I think that we've actually got a really good example of what if a toy line keeps producing the same thing for ad infinitum, and that's turtles. How many there is a turtle? It's like the old California raisins, which I do in fact have a complete collection of. How many, how many different turtles are out there? There is something for everybody. It doesn't matter what you like. If you're a one pump and done, one pump chump with a turtle, um, there's something for you. You want a beach? Hey, listen, if California raisins were still being produced today, I guarantee you there would be an Avengers line of California raisins. That there was, and I'm pretty sure that somewhere in there is probably a Avengers set of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm fairly certain I've seen a Thor Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I don't know if I've seen an Iron Man. Yes, they were made by Coleco. Um, which world? The California Raisins or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles going on forever? Because eventually you've got to roll back around and start buying the same toy that you've already bought. um, yeah, it's Prune Avengers. I want to eat. Where my tapioca at? Ah! But it it's good that some things come to an end. I really think Turtles is definitely, and there will be those that will argue this point, and I would, yeah, please send me an invite. We'll talk about this ad nauseum. But there is, I think it's somewhat good that a toy line needs to kind of come to an end for a while. Maybe it's good that classified, that there's a chance that if it did end, not saying it's going to anytime soon, but You know, it if it ends, then yeah, it 100%. You shut your filthy mouth. You have always hated tapioca. I'm sleeping in the chair tonight. um, what if? What if? What would Hasbro do with Mattel? What if they bought them? One, I honestly don't think Hasbro has the money to buy them. Um, and I would definitely support um, antitrust laws on the sale of that. Of course, we all know in this day and age that antitrust. Yeah, they could probably totally get away with that shit. But would they? How would they handle Masters of the Universe? Would they? They definitely wouldn't keep things the way they are, where you have literally on the shelf right now. You have classic animation, origins, revelations, the new movie. That at minimum you have 5 different Motu lines, all selling the same toy, and all anybody wants is Scare Glow. So you know it. Oh yeah. They're all hurting. They're all hurting right now. Because petroleum and natural gas give us the toys that we all want, and but that again, that gets you. What do you want me to tell you? That we've got a world right now built on the petrodollar, um, and the people who hate us want that to die. So at Louisiana, I'm very familiar with this process because we have a budget and financing all based off of oil and natural gas, and when that fails, we as a state just bottom out. So you know, there's yeah, I'm familiar with this. Um, yeah, I have a Honda that cost $100 to fill up. A Honda. So it's you would definitely see some changes coming to Mattel if Hasbro. What if? Hmm. Mattel still makes some board games, don't they? Or is that all Hasbro now? Because that's where Hasbro makes their money. It's board games. It always has been. how many different ways can they sell you Monopoly? You lose 2 or 3 pieces of that game, and they could sell it to you all over again. So it is that all Mattel's got going for it right now? Is Masters of the Universe? What are they're doing wrestling figures. Um, and I can't speak for wrestling shit because I don't know nothing about it. I have a loathsome hatred for the McMahons, and it's all my heroes in wrestling are gone. So it and then one of them I can't see. It's if a Hasbro rep comes to you and asks, "Well, you're gonna do not let them." Um, it would be very interesting. I wonder what Mattel. I mean, you've got the Jurassic line, and I am very, very happy with the Hammond collection. Very happy with it. Other than the fact that I cannot afford to pay $500 for a T Rex, and I want the Hammond collection T Rex, not that grab its tail and make its mouth move and roar T Rex. I don't want that one. I want my Hammond collection T Rex. Hammond. uh, don't make me get Spinosaurus off the shelf. So it I wish I'd bought that Brachiosaurus when I had yeah. Um Mattel is one of the few companies that has almost an entire aisle. Actually, they've got that they I think Mattel is probably doing quite well as far as if you judge things on aisle space. Um I hate you. I hate you, Diaz. But I love hating you. Anyway, Barbie stuff. A lot of the girl, the girl aisle, the toddler section. Mattel does a lot of aisles with it. I think they've. If you had to sum it up, I think Mattel probably definitely has a lot more aisle space than Hasbro does. And what's Hasbro doing? They've honestly got GI Joe because Transformers. Man, if they screw that shit up, Takara Tomy will just sell it to you straight. They almost do now. All right. We're hitting our 2 hour mark, and I was already exhausted when I started this. Um, this has been very interesting. It look what I can do. Wee. uh I want to do this again. I want to do another what if. I think this will become a not so eclectic, which, oh, Max, not being eclectic, narrowing down to a formatted subject matter. Uh, oh, heads might pop. So, yeah, I think I'd like to do this again. Talk about a few things, get a subject, what if, see what Nostradamus says. Was it? No, it was a paperclip. Ladies and gentlemen, let's end tonight with a quote. What if? What if Max did a quote? What if I didn't do a quote? What would you do then? What if? What if? There's so many what ifs. We as YouTubers, we love to speculate. So let's speculate about what if Max does do a quote. This page keeps popping up. So I'm going to, oh, look, some Keats. John Keats, 1795 to 1821. Oh, what can ail thee, knight at arms, alone and palely loitering? The sedge has withered from the lake, and no birds sing. Good night, everybody, and I hope you have. What if? What if you have a good day tomorrow?